Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Instagram. And hope you're well. It's another Tuesday with Tuesday Talk. Hope you've had a great day. I don't know where you are in the world, but today in Australia we had Melbourne Cup, which is the day that nation stops. Melbourne Cup is a horse racing event, and it's a very fun day um, with lots of exciting events and ceremonies, and most importantly, a race. So it's an opportunity that entire nation um, dress up, have some fun with friends and family, watching the race, having a few drinks. Definitely, it's a day for bubbles outdoor, and yeah, it's a very fun thing, fun day in Australia. If you are in Australia, I hope you've had a great day and have had and been very responsible. um, I won't get into too much of details, but I love Melbourne Cup because it's something that everybody in Australia does from all walks of life, and it doesn't matter um, what level you are, if you own a horse or if you are part of a syndicate, you're into racing or you're not into racing, you're into fashion or you're not into it. Doesn't matter. You just participate in the race. So it's a beautiful day. What happens after race is this. You run back home to sit in front of camera and be ready for another live, another Tuesday Talk. And the topic for today is skipping interview process. Yes, it's it's an interesting topic, and the reason I started to think about this topic and I thought it's a good thing to bring to you guys is because I had a very deep and meaningful conversation with a friend. So today's conversation is skipping interview process for senior managers and leaders is a good investment of your time if you are a senior manager and you've been doing really good work and you are solid in what you do in your company, and you've been creating some wonderful results. And now you are thinking about what's next for me. And the thought of going for interview or starting to talk to recruitment consultants is really annoying. In fact, if you recently have some conversations, you just felt like, yeah, you know what? I really don't want to go put myself through this process after all this great work that I've done. Also, it's a good investment of your time if you are one of those subject matter experts. So, see, you might not be a manager, but you might be very seasoned professional in your craft, someone that knows her stuff, his stuff really well, and been doing a really good job, but not necessarily in management positions, but like the amount of work that you've done in your space is unbelievable. And when you think of going for an interview, you think, you know what, how the hell am I going to explain to people what I've done, what I've optimized, what I've created, what I have brought to life? And the other scenario is this: you are someone that is really good at what you do, but you have been in your company for a very long period of time. And just thinking, going and putting yourself out there for another interview for someone to assess you and validate if you're good or not is just not a comfortable feeling. So, 3 cases. For you, if you've known me, well, welcome back. If it's first time you're coming to my live, my name is Shireen Danish, and I am an executive and career coach. I specialize, however, in business transformation and business agility. I used to be a software engineer. how did I end up here doing this type of work? I have seen a lot of times a lot of good people gone unseen and somewhat unappreciated. And I made it my mission to find a way, practice them, teach them, and now promote them for people that they are good at what they do to be able to present themselves with modesty and integrity and get what they deserve. It's a very simple why. I just felt it's not right, it's not fair when people are able to do more, but they get stuck at a certain level in a certain place just because that's where they are. So, today's conversation, skipping interview processes for people that they've been doing some really good work, starts with two key topics, somewhat unrelated, but then we'll connect them together. First one is your competency. Your competency and the level that you are good at your job, there are a set of metrics associated with that. And normally it's associated with the quality of the work you do. So any metric that is associated with quality and any metric that is anything that is associated with the type of decisions that you make shows your caliber and your competency. Well, for specific crafts such as engineering, data analytics, security, any of those types, being a physician, a doctor, so anything that is about that practice is quite clear as what those metrics are. But when it comes to management itself as a practice, there are other sets of metrics that we will monitor and we focus on. So in the business is either growth or optimizing use of our assets and our resources. So when it comes to understanding and articulating how good you are, you need to be able to say what metrics you are improving, not only what objectives you hit, but also what metrics you are focusing on. These are quite known in the space of business. So that's the competency part, first topic. Second one is your visibility. Visibility has nothing to do with your competency. How many times throughout the history you've read, you've heard that someone has been amazing, she's been great at whatever she's been doing, but for some reasons in academic work, her work never got the attention that it needed. How many times have you read that someone was a great watchmaker, but nobody knew him? So the competency and visibility, they are two very different metrics. As a professional, you're responsible to work on both of them at the same time. So when I want to connect these two concepts, two topics together. If you are feeling uncomfortable, or if you are feeling, somewhat it's waste of my life to go to an interview, to now explore what else is out there, you have all the time work on your competency. You have work on the craft that you've been focusing on. But what about your visibility? The dread and the pain that you're experiencing is not because you're not great. And it's not because the other side, let's say the recruitment consultant or even the company that you would like to join them, they don't care about you, or they are degrading you, or they're looking down at you. None of that. It's just because you have not worked on your visibility and articulating what you are good at. So who's responsible for that? Working on your visibility, working on building your network, it is one aspect of your career development. The same way you go to work and you need to do a solid job and you need to make sure your team and your business and all of that, they are in a really good shape and in a really good place and they are progressing in whatever they need to do. The same way you're responsible for creating and nurturing your network in a way that they know you for what you are good. So let's put responsibility where it belongs with us. And now, when we talk about leadership and when we talk about being a thought leader in the space that you are in, we always look at 5 areas. And this is my 5 aspects that I'm really big on. And I always make sure that we are looking at everything at the same time. The first one is your identity, who you are, and your traits, your values, and how basically your perspective in how to run and lead yourself, your team, and your organization. The second one is your edge, your experience, your craft, which is about your caliber, how good you are in what you do. The third one is your presence. And your presence, I'm not talking about just going to the event. I mean creating opportunities for yourself that you be able to present your work, present the things that you've done and learned in a hard way sometimes to the rest of the world, to the network, people around you, so they get to know you. And when I talk about skipping interview process, which is the promise of this conversation, is the work that you do throughout your career in a year and the way you present it to the people around you, to your network, is the key for you to be able to skip an interview process. And let me explain why. I'm double clicking on this one. See, interview process has 2 parts to it. One is the concept of checking if other side can do the job. And second one is when they want to check if the person is a match for this one. So there are 2 different ones. And you're really good at that. You know this one. I'm not going to explain the obvious. The part that a lot of us will feel annoyed with the process, disrespected with someone asking a question, or feeling scared or truly feeling the fear when we think about going for a conversation is because we think those conversations are about validating our capability and validating our caliber. Most probably, that's not the case. Those conversations, when you get more senior, are mostly about seeing if you are a match for the type of problem that the destination organization has. So if you separate these 2, how good I am, and if I'm a match with the destination, you bring some sort of ease to yourself. And when you go into this conversation, it's not about, oh, they're questioning me if I'm good at what I do. No. They're having a conversation to know if you're a good match for this problem. When executive search firms get briefed as what needed for a specific position, most of the time they tap into the shoulder of people that they already are in really high positions. So those conversations are not to see if that person can do the job, if she's good at what she's doing. She's already running this business. The question and the interview process is to know if they are able to solve this specific type of problem, if they are interested in solving this type of problems, And the last thing, if they are a good cultural match. Because it doesn't matter how good you are in your craft, you might not be a match for an organization with a different culture. If you have always worked in a startup and a very dynamic and high tech companies, going to a very formal consulting firm is definitely not something that you would want to explore. Other way around. If you've always been in very serious financial services and now going to a really dynamic and really upbeat agency type model businesses, you just cannot operate. You don't, not you can't operate, it's just not your style. So let me summarize my point. The pain that is associated with going through interviews for people that are quite senior in what they do is because we think it's going to be assessment of our capability. And truly, ego gets a little bit bruised here. But that's not the case. Most of the time, those conversations are about, would you like to solve this problem? Can you solve this problem? And how would you go about solving this problem? And if you're a culture match, and match is two ways with the destination company. So, of the 5 aspects of thought leadership, your identity, your edge, your experience, your presence, we get to the networking part. And the networking part is the part that people know you for what you are able to. So when you go for these conversations, you skip the presenting yourself and your work, and you just get to the part that is about, are we a match for this type of problem? So you suddenly jump a lot of steps that needs to normally, traditionally, we used to go through to present our case and say, look, I'm good at this. Can I prove it to you? So you will skip that completely and you get to the 5th part, which is negotiating what you want. Well, that was the topic for today. And yes, that was what I had for you. Just 1 second, please. For the 3 scenarios of people that they've been in their company for long, people that they are really good at their job but they haven't been in management positions, and people that they are really senior in what they do. Have in mind that your competency and your visibility are 2 very different things. Responsibility of working on your visibility is on you. So just do it. If you are interested in this type of work and you are secretly planning your next move, DM me because I definitely can help and I would like to know how you're going to go about it. There are a lot of things that you can do that smooth out this process for you, and you'll be able to get to the higher profile roles a lot quicker. The last thing that we talked about was differentiating between the part of interview that is about your caliber versus the part of interview that is about you being a match with the destination organization. If you have worked on your networking, you will be able to skip a lot of those parts that is about validating your skill set and jump directly to the part that is about if you are a match. Sounds simple, but most of the time we get stuck in the first part and we think that every single interview is going to be a pain. That's not the case, and I promise you there are ways to simplify and to skip the steps easily. Well, my friend, that's it. I will talk to you next time, next Tuesday, same time, same place. Have a good one.